Okay, so hey everybody. I've been back from Ukraine for about a month now, maybe a month and a few days, and in less than a week, I'm going to be going back for my third time. And I want to make this video basically as an open letter to President Putin, the Russian people, President Zelensky, and President Biden. This war, this can be finished by Christmas. My Christmas on the 25th, your Christmas on the 7th of January, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It can be done by Christmas, and I'll explain why. First, I'd like to address President Zelensky. Um, Sir, I guess I'd like to start out with an apology to you. I, when I was asked to go to Ukraine the first time, my initial thought was, wow, a shooting war with Russia. The only opportunity in my lifetime to be able to participate in one, even just as a humanitarian. And and the reason I felt that way was because my entire military career was basically spent training for a shooting war with Russia. So here was my chance to do that. Um, so I said yes. So I went over there to work as a humanitarian to try and help out however I could with the war. But then something happened, and it happened um, basically partway through my second trip. And what happened was I saw your country and I met its people. And sir, I've seen your country from the west almost to the east, from Lviv to Kiev, and then further east from there down to Mykolaiv, Odessa, Izmail, um, and other little small towns. And I've met the people that are there. And sir, your people are smart. Your people are driven. Your people are courageous. Your people are funny. I have met your politicians, your celebrities, and I've met your everyday heroes. People, that, in my opinion, that are heroes just because they go to work every day. Um, knowing that they could die, they get up, they go to work. That to me is courage incarnate. But in meeting your people, I started to fall in love with your people. I brought back things that I found that just kind of incorporate Ukraine for me. Um, I fly the flag of your country over my boat. I I feel like at some point I started to become Ukrainian, and I'd be one if you would have me, sir. This for me incorporates my view of Ukraine as a whole, including its people. You just look at the outside; it's strong, but you scratch the surface, and there's just depth to your people. There's fear, there's optimism, there's everything. Your country's at war. It's to be expected, but your people are just so strong, just like this. This is a piece of Russian shrapnel. It kind of makes me sick in a way. In the Marine Corps, I was in field artillery, so I know what shrapnel does. I know what artillery does. Um, yeah, actually makes me sad to have participated in that. This is a this is a dove of peace done by a little Ukrainian girl. She made these for her brave Ukrainian warriors. I'm not Ukrainian, but she gave me one anyway, and I wore this on my body armor. This this is someone's sleeve. Um, but anyway, to you, sir, your military is world class. You have won this war. At this point, it's just a question of how long does it drag out to get the Russians out of Ukraine. And and I'm saying this as a former United States Marine, I wouldn't want to face your warriors on the battlefield. I just wouldn't want to do it. They're motivated. They're fighting for their home. So yeah, I wouldn't want to face them, and that's why Russia's lost this war. So Slava Ukraini. And President Biden, sir, thank you so much for everything that you've done for the people of Ukraine, the weapons systems that we've given them above and beyond. You know, you've done a fantastic job. What I would ask you, though, sir, is that you release all the weapon systems that are locked up in committee. The Ukrainians have requested things that they know will help them in this war fast. Please release those systems so that this doesn't drag on into next year and then maybe the year after that. If not now, when? The Russians are suffering, the Russians are losing, the Russians are in retreat throughout Ukraine. Give the Ukrainians what they need to end this quickly. Civilians are suffering, young men are dying on both sides, the world economy is suffering. If you release those weapons, sir, this can be over within months. Truly, this can be over within months, and it won't drag into next year. So please release those weapon systems. To the Russian people, I honestly don't know who has the greater power to end this war, you or your president. I kind of think it's you. You could end this war by Christmas by just choosing not to participate. If you're in Russia and you're told to go to Ukraine, just don't go. If you're in Ukraine right now, just go home. The border is right there. Just go home. There's no reason for you to be there. There's no reason for any of this to happen. You as a country, you were lied to. You were told that Nazis were running the country, that Nazis were all over Ukraine, and it's not true. You were lied to. Just like I was lied to, and Americans were lied to by our government in Iraq. We were told there were weapons of mass destruction. We need to go in. We need to clean this out. It was a lie. It was something that was told to us just to motivate us to go to war and to explain why certain people in our government wanted to go to war, to give it legitimacy. And it's the same thing that's happened to you. There are no Nazis running Ukraine. It was a lie. Just stop participating in this war because it's unjust. If enough of you don't participate, it'll be an expression of the will of the people. If enough of you don't participate, they're not going to arrest you. They can't arrest you all. If you're a soldier in the field and you see this, you're dying for nothing. Just go home. This is an unjust war. As a Marine, I'm telling you, if I were given an order that I knew was unjust, I wouldn't follow it. And there's no dishonor in that. There's dishonor in following those orders to attack civilians. There's dishonor in that. Please just go home. You can end this by Christmas, if not before. To President Putin, sir, I don't know if the world will ever actually know the real reason why you chose to invade Ukraine. I know what you said, but there's a truth. There's a real reason. I can only go with what is most likely, and I think that most likely you did this because you felt it was in the greater good of your country. It hasn't worked out that way. I would submit to you, sir, that in the greater good of your country, you withdraw your troops. I would submit to you that your troops are dying en masse for no reason at all, and I think you know that now. If you have been told that you're winning this war, the people who have told you that are lying to you. There's at this point, there's just no way that you can win this war, sir. And I'm not saying that to gloat or anything like that. I see the horror of it. I've worked with vets here in this country that have been destroyed by war. You're creating a generation of those people. The ones that live through this and go home, they're going to be destroyed for the rest of their lives. There's no reason for it. You were lied to, or you maybe feel trapped into maintaining this war, but you don't have to, sir. You don't have to do it. You could be a man of peace. You could be the first leader in world history to stand up and have the balls to say, I made a mistake. I made a mistake and I'm fixing it. Bring your troops home. Sir, whatever good that you thought you were doing for Russia with this aggression, it hasn't worked out. You've lost this war and there's no way to win it, sir. Your men are in the field today, right now, dying en masse for a lost cause. Whatever good you thought you were going to do, it hasn't worked out. Prolonging this war only will get more of your sons killed. It'll only create more widows. It'll only create more mothers who are devastated at the loss of their children. There's no reason for it. And things are only going to get worse, sir. My country, it has its faults. It has its things that we do well. There are things that we do poorly. But one thing, and I think you can agree with this, that my country does well is to spend money making war. There are going to be more weapon systems coming to fight your troops. Prolonging this war will only kill more Russians and Ukrainians. They're your brothers and your sisters right next door, and they're being killed en masse just like Russians are. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for this war, sir. You can end it. Sir, I think that you could agree with me when I say that my country does some things well and some things poorly. I'm fully admitting that. We've definitely made our own mistakes in the past. But one thing that we do exceedingly well is to spend money on making war. That money is being spent, weapons are continuing to flow into Ukraine, and there's just no way that you can win this war at this point. So there's no ambiguity in this. It's a black and white issue like a school bus full of nuns. There's just no way that you can win this war. The only thing that you're doing at this point is just killing more of your men and creating more widows and more mothers that are just devastated at the loss of their children. It doesn't need to be this way. Neither you nor I are young men anymore, but we remember what it's like to be young men in the service of our country and have that motivation, that feeling that you want to do the right thing. You have young men in the field right now, just like that are being slaughtered. The world has changed since you and I were young men. We're dinosaurs, you and I, and we need to step back and we need to let the younger people with a more optimistic view of the world step in and take us forward into the future. They haven't been burdened by the cynicism that you and I have. They haven't. Sir, please don't let the people around you that are advising you to stay in this war or possibly even to have started it influence you anymore. They're insulated by anonymity and they're not going to pay the price like you are in your family. Your daughters are tied to you and will suffer with you via proxy. They're going to have to live with the reputation of their father, and you control that. You can control how the world sees you. If you choose to withdraw your troops, to be a man of peace at great political cost to you, the future will see you, not right now, but the future will see you as a man who did the right thing, and it was at great cost to himself. Your daughters will be associated with a man of honor. Because you have two choices, sir. You can either become that man of peace or you can become the man who is going to be remembered for destroying Russia and killing off a generation of its young men. Those are your two choices. So, sir, I would ask you to please give the world the best Christmas possible. I don't care if it's my Christmas on the 25th or your Christmas on the 7th. Give us the best Christmas ever in this war, please. Announce a ceasefire. Start withdrawing your troops. You can have them out before Christmas. At the end of the day, I'm just a man and nobody's going to remember my name, but they'll remember yours. So why not let it be remembered for being a man of peace and a man of reason? Please bring your troops home. Give us a good Christmas.